keep in mind, like with all this happening, we have nation states, Wall Street, ETFs, all making this a very like solid 2024 run. Comparing this to FTX and lending and like Ponzi schemes and all this kind of stuff, where we hit an all-time high in 2021, but it was just like a bunch of FOMO money. This is institutional money. This is BlackRock saying you should have 2% allocated to Bitcoin. This is Eric Trump, right, talking about how he thinks his dad's going to push Bitcoin to $1 million, that nations are going to be buying, nations already are buying, all this kind of stuff. Now we have a big change tomorrow. FASB has officially adopted fair value accounting for Bitcoin for fiscal years beginning in December or after December 15, 2024. This upgrade to accounting standards will facilitate the adoption of Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset by corporations worldwide. Keep in mind, we've already seen a lot of corporations start to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet, but it's much easier for like these pristine balance sheets to add Bitcoin once they can show the gains every single quarter along with the losses. Before this, they've just had to show, like, if you buy Bitcoin for 100,000, then it goes down to 30,000. You have to show that as a loss, and then if it goes right back up to 100,000, 500,000, a million, you can't show that as a profit until you sell it, which most people don't want to do. So yeah, this changes the accounting rules, and this is one big change that I think shows where crypto's moving. Right, it's not being ragged on anymore by a lot of the big entities out there. It's not being, I'd say, unfairly treated. It's actually making sense how they're approaching things, how the governments are approaching things, how documentation, accounting all works. There's massive adoption and people want in on it. So they're making it a little bit easier for the companies that do want in on it as well. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you're BlackRock, if you're Fidelity, if you are some big exchange like Coinbase, if you are someone that's going to make money from Bitcoin, you want to make it easier now, right? If you're a custody service, you want these kinds of fair value accounting, so that way you get more clients that add more Bitcoin to their balance sheet and you help them with that, and then you get paid for it. So that happens tomorrow. What happens later this week? Jerome Powell talks. We have the Fed rate decision. So most likely a 25 basis point cut. Keep in mind, Jerome Powell just said Bitcoin is like gold. It's competition for gold, not the dollar. So everyone's going to be watching Jerome Powell speak, talking about the economy, talking about jobs and inflation, obviously, to try to determine, how overheated is the market? Is there cause for concern? Be ready for volatility. I believe that's Wednesday. Be ready for volatility that day. We also have, the future strategic Bitcoin reserve. Just this week, Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, says, I am confident that Bitcoin is going to hit $1 million during my dad's term. So yeah, there are people that are extremely bullish that think we're definitely going to get this reserve here, and people will try to front run it. Companies are trying to front run it and all that. So there will be a lot of volatility. Be ready for anything. These are just a handful of the catalysts that are happening. Keep in mind, Bitcoin is going mainstream. Everyone is going to be forced to buy Bitcoin, whether they like it or not, unless they just want to go out of their way to rebalance the other 99 companies every single quarter, to go buy and spend all this time trying to get around having to buy MSTR. As MSTR gets bigger, they're going to keep on buying more and more Bitcoin. Now they have an endless faucet of money dripping into their company. So this is quite exciting. And it shows you, again, how things have changed. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, MSTR wasn't going to be included in the NASDAQ 100. They weren't big enough. People didn't think highly of them. Now they're the hottest trade on Wall Street. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. I think once you realize that everyone gains